Asking the questions today on Meet the Press are Edward Folliard of the Washington Post, Ellie Abel of the Detroit News, John Chancellor of NBC News, and Lawrence E. Spivak, our regular member of the Meet the Press panel. Our guest today is Senator John Kennedy, the Democratic nominee for president.
Basically, however, the question is for the future. That's the question Mr. Nixon and we're not going to undo the last 8 years. And the question now is, should the country entrust the leadership to the Democratic Party and to me as president, or should they entrust it to the Republican Party and Mr. Nixon? That's the issue.
Now, there have been 2 murders, many beatings, and a federal expenditure for troops of about $300,000. Would you say that what the march accomplished was worth that cost?
Well, first, I would say that the march was not silly at all. I would think that the march did more to dramatize the indignities and the injustices that Negro people continue to face in the state of Alabama and many other sections of the South, more than anything else.
An American magazine published a story this week which says that Dr. Castro really hates America. Will you tell the American people how you feel about the United States?
Why am I going to hate to the people of the United States? I don't hate anybody, including my enemies, those who have been my strong enemy.
There is still a deep feeling about the breach of trust in Watergate. How do people reconcile that?
Well, it's very difficult to reconcile, and I understand that, because Watergate was a breach of trust. Winston Churchill once wrote that strong leaders usually do the big things well, but they foul up on small things, and then the small things become big. I should have read that before Watergate happened. In 1972, we went to China, we went to Russia, we ended the Vietnam War effectively by the end of that year. Those were the big things. And then here was a small thing, and we fouled it up beyond belief. It was a great mistake. It was wrong, as I pointed out over and over again.
I've had some great polls. I mean, I always get criticized for saying the National Enquirer had a poll that I win the election. And I don't know.
But that wasn't. That wasn't scientific.
I don't know if it was
only
scientific.
100 people.
You know what? They got the highest marks on the O.J. Simpson coverage and lots of other coverage. So, you know, say what you want. So the point is, they did a poll, and I win the election according to that poll.
But if 3/4 of the American people 3 months from now are saying they won't vote for you under any circumstances, would you then still run?
Well, I would only do this if I felt I could win the election.
You know, first of all, I think we got to give Senator Clinton some credit. I mean, she's a pretty formidable candidate, and she possesses the best brand name in Democratic politics. And her and her husband have been campaigning actively. People have fond memories of some of the work that they did in the 90s. And so the fact that she has won some of those contests in some demographic groups shouldn't be surprising. I mean, I'm the underdog. I came into this thing with everybody anticipating that we would be blown away. And if I was worried about polls and you know, some of this analysis, I probably wouldn't have gotten in the race in the first place. What's remarkable is how well we've done.
Why are you comfortable saying, I'm going to be the nominee, and why did you think it was important to actually verbalize that?
I know what this feels like, having lived through it. I have 3 million more votes. In the case of Senator Obama and myself, it was neck and neck in the popular vote. I have far more pledged delegates. It was much closer between me and Senator Obama, and I am going to be the nominee.
The hard-hitting interview is still at the heart of every show. Because guess what? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.